Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I know this is Saturday. Also, happy Ugadi or happy Bisu or happy Vishu to all of you. Hope you guys are had some incredible bun stuff to for lunch today. I think normally we have what they call irevanas. How many people had irevanas this morning or today? Every
I did. I
Srini,
did.
you did? Oh,
I'm
okay,
uh I'm
you're
I'm staying
lucky.
awake. I'm staying awake.
All right. So I'll just briefly introduce myself. My name is Mahesh Shetty, and I'm joined on the call today with Shrini and Prasad, the other co-presenters. We have two other members of our executive committee here today. One is Divya; she's the treasurer. Say hi, Divya. And
Hi.
and we can't do anything without Divya, by the way. So and then we have Veena. She is our secretary. Veena is responsible for all the record keeping and just keeping us organized and honest. So she's also Veena. Are you on camera? If you are, just say hi.
Hi.
Okay, got it. Awesome. This is not going to be a death by PowerPoint presentation, but no meeting is complete without a PowerPoint. So we will just switch to a PowerPoint and then we'll just share our screen. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, all right,
Yes.
perfect. Um, so we'll talk a little bit about this logo that you just see here. Obviously, everybody is familiar with Kantara, but we try to emulate a little bit of that. But on the left is a real logo, and Srini is a creator of the logo, and I'll let him brag on it in a little bit. So I'll just keep going. That's my face. It's Photoshopped by Srini. That's not the way I normally look. Um, so this webinar is being recorded. We will promote it on online, both on Facebook as well as LinkedIn. Just text your questions on the chat button so we can take all your questions and make sure that you guys are everything that you're asking is we respond to correctly. Let's see. So this kind of is our organization. Really, this conversation today amongst us is mainly about exchanging where we are and what we're doing for Texas BANA, but also we wanted to communicate our organizational structure, not just at the Texas BANA level, but also how the overall organization works, so that you can get a flavor for how BANA in general, operates. So you see the BANA National Board, and I put on the right the BANA presidents, which is all BANA presidents. Of course, they're not called BANA, but presidents of BUNT organizations in different countries are all part of our overall community. And then on the bottom, you see the all the former presidents. As I think I mentioned in my first newsletter, we are really standing on their shoulders because they have spent the last 40 years building this organization to where it is today. And then the advisory board, a number of you guys are already on the call, which is all the regional reps. And then Texas BANA, we are part of the extended family, and we have the mandate this year to take us to the next BANA. And if my computer cooperates, it'll go to the next slide. So this is the national board. Ashish Shetty, if most of you are familiar with him, Ashish was also the BANA president on 017 and 019. He is the chair. Shweta was president for 015 and 017. She is the vice chair. And Tarun, actually Dr. Tarun Shetty is from Long Island. He is our treasurer. Sanjana is our national board secretary. Sanjana lives in Tennessee, but she's originally from Staten Island. Suresh, all of you are familiar if you attended the event in Georgia or Atlanta. He was a previous president. We took over from him. Pooja lives in Boston. Dr. Anup Shetty is from Dallas. Ravi Vadera is from New York. And Shreyan is a new youth rep. He's from Virginia or Washington, D.C. Again, another mugshot of us. This is our organization, the Prasad, Srini, Jairaj. I'll talk about what they are doing, Divya and Veena. Um, And then Srini, do you want to take the ball and run with what you're doing in your committee?
Sure, Mahesh. Firstly, thanks for having me here, and it's a pleasure to connect with everyone who've taken their time out to join us today. Um, Essentially, the committees that I will be overlooking is marketing, branding. We're also working on communications, website, event planning, programs, entertainment. So I would say all the fun stuff. So that essentially is the different committees that fall under what I do. Um, of course, we've got Prasad. Prasad, you want to take on the next one?
No, I'm sorry, Srini. I was fiddling
Sorry.
with it.
Okay.
Keep going.
So just to introduce a couple of key folks. So we've got Sandhya, we've got Namrata and Rashmi. They're actually on this call as well. They will be leading a lot of these initiatives, right from marketing, branding to communications to websites. We have a lot of support on event planning, programs, entertainment. There's a host of folks that you can see in there. Essentially anything related to BANA, any sort of communications, you will hear from either me or Sandhya, Namrata, or Rashmi, right? And we're excited to introduce you to a whole new level of what we have plans going forward. Over to you, Mahesh.
And Prasad, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure, Mahesh. Thanks to you and Srini. I'll continue along the same lines. Good afternoon to all of you. And like Srini and Mahesh said, thanks for spending your time this afternoon or day with us, or this session with us today. So for many of you who have been associated with BANA for some time or who have hosted BANA, you likely know that there are many different things that happen behind the scenes, like all of these activities like membership and maybe sponsorship related, souvenir related and such. So in some cases, there could be like a small team, or maybe like in some cases, it could even be like historically one person managing multiple things, or maybe like a core group of like maybe 5 people managing all of this together. Fortunately, here for us in Dallas and Texas, as part of our Texas BANA, we have lots of excitement, and as you can see, many people supporting us here. So first of all, I'd like to thank all of them, and also to thank all of you for joining here to support us with this. So for the folks who are new to BANA or who would be listening to this offline and kind of wondering what these different roles do, I'll just give a quick introduction about what each of these are, maybe like a line or two. So in the membership committee, what we essentially do is manage new members as they sign in and register through bana.org. We take care of theirs. Registrations and also update any changes to them. A large part of this would be coming next year, or maybe later in the year, this year, when the convention opens up for our larger BANA convention for next year. So that's when this team will have a bigger role. So you'll see Kiran, Namrata, and Satish there. And then going quickly into our community, or the second pillar there, community engagement and charity. So there are two things involved here. First is charity related, and maybe some of you who are regional focals here attending this call today, you're already aware that in your local groups, you would have promoted certain things, maybe helping locally to your communities. We did something similarly last month or late last month with helping Dallas Parks with planting trees as a group from BANA, from our Dallas team. The second aspect of this is to help with any community engagement in the form of maybe helping new grads or maybe new people like who are looking for leadership and professional development and such. In fact, this Tulumane Talks came out of one of those brainstorming sessions based on an idea that was proposed. So the second part of this pillar is to focus on that. So you'll see Anup, Kiran, that's Kiran Gopal Shetty, Mala, Sadhu, Sangeeta Rai, Satish, Shilpa, Shivani, and Smita being part of this team, the larger team. And then going into the third pillar, sponsorship, and the fifth one, souvenir. these kind of go a little bit hand in hand. Sandhya is leading the souvenir one, and so that's where we'd be working with the regional coordination team, and working with the extended team within BANA to ensure that we receive your pictures. Maybe later, like in a few months, I think we'll be reaching out to gather pictures, gather advertisement related stuff that will go into the souvenir, and also for any donation related things, working with the Divya's team from a financial perspective, and this team, Anup, Jeevan, and Sandhya, helping from a sponsorship perspective. And then in regional coordination, they work alongside Rashmi and Srini and Namrata, along with the communication team, that's Ganesh, Sangeeta, Shivani, and Sid, working with the regional focals to relay the information both ways, whatever is happening on our side to y'all, and also the other way. And then lastly, on the souvenir team, like I said, Anup, Namrata, Rashmi, and Sandhya are there. So with that, I'll hand it back to you, Mahesh.
Yeah, thank you, Prasad, and thank you, Srini. Prasad, thank you for making the point. This session is going to be recorded for some of you guys who are coming in a little bit late. This is going to be available on our Facebook page, on the LinkedIn page, so you'll not miss anything. So just want to be careful about letting you guys know that. And the next, this I'll talk to, so Jairaj. We are trying to, I've talked about this in a newsletter, and we'll kind of elaborate a little bit in our next newsletter. We are working on what I call a digital tapestry for the Bund families, if you will, trying to figure out how we get connected digitally, because we are so much of our entire culture revolves around Guttu and money, and so and we want to kind of create that fabric, so allow people to connect digitally. So that's fairly ambitious program, and Jairaj is leading it. But this is not just a US-based venture. We have help from there's a fairly core development group based in Kudla. They're doing a lot of the work, and then we have somebody else working on the UI UX part too. And we've had some conversations with other Bund presidents in different markets, and they're all very excited about this idea. With more to come on this. Then Veena, Veena again. Veena, you want to dwell a little bit on what you do?
Yeah, no, as Mahesh mentioned, right? I am basically focused on record keeping and ensuring that everything happens in order. I'm basically behind the great team led by Mahesh, Prasad, Srini, and all the team members. So, my work is made easy.
She's always very kind and generous. So Veena is also one of the, when you look at the people talking on behalf of Dallas, we have people who have been here for many, many years, and Veena and Dharma have been in Dallas for 25 plus years. Divya, you're next.
Okay. I'm the treasurer. I manage the finances. And we are very excited to host this event from Texas. And we are trying very hard to make it a success and bring you a vacation, cruise vacation, along with the BANA convention at affordable prices, I would say. And just keep in mind, there's no registration fee. So I hope a lot of you can join us, and there will be a lot of attendance compared to other BANAs. We are going to put up a show, a very good show. And my work, I'll be doing finances, as Mahesh said. And there are some legacy initiatives started with Mahesh, like QB implementation, donor database, and national bank account. We've already set up a national bank account. And other than that, Mahesh, you can take over.
Thank you, Divya. She keeps us honest. And this is the regional, many of you here on the call today. this is a list of all the regional reps. And bear with me, I'm trying to admit people in the lobby. But this everybody, I think this is a good group. It's been very responsive, and I think we have, we've done a good job. There's still work to be done here because we have to figure out how to bring more people as part of the community. I think on average, our assessment is that only about 50% of our BANA community are members or are part of the community, if you will. We need to figure out a way to bring everybody on board. And I think part of what our regional reps can do or really help us do is to make that happen. And I think once we kind of give them a sense of belonging about being part of the community, it becomes more and more sticky, and then they'll automatically, their children also, which is really the most important thing. We want to create an organization that survives beyond us, right? So we have to create some stickiness in the organization. And from there, I'll let, we have worked a lot of things that we think about from Texas BANA. One of the things we keep talking about, how do we create a new identity for BANA? How do we demonstrate that we're kind of forging a new path, in a manner of speaking? So we wanted to, the best way we felt that we could do is create a new branding messaging, and I'll have Srini talk about it in a little bit. But part of the messaging is also create this, opportunity for us to identify with different parts of our community. So the Tulumane Talks, this is just a preliminary conversation about who we are, what we're doing, why we're doing it. But the more important part about the organization is create this iterative conversations, if you will. And the next session about Tulumane Talks is just a conversation with Dr. Anup Shetty, who's written a book. And the book is very important because it talks about his journey from cancer back to where he is today. It's a very poignant, a very moving story about his journey. So I think you'll all enjoy his conversation. We have lined up fairly interesting personalities. So, this is not just about a professional opportunity that is part of it, but it's also about mind, body, and spirit, and being able to bring different people in our community with different professions, so our children know that there is more than one profession to be had, and also the diversity of opinions also creates a richer conversation. So with that being said, I'll let Srini talk about his baby or the branding. Go ahead, Srini.
Thanks, Maheshana. So as Maheshana said, given what we hope to accomplish with BANA in 2023, 2024, we went back and we started from scratch. What we've noticed is over the years, corporations, companies, associations, they have adopted their logos to be in line with the general consensus. So on behalf of Rashmi, Sandhya, Namrata, Mahesh, Prasad, we all took a step back and we analyzed what is it that we really want to accomplish in BANA? What is it that we really want to curate for members across North America for BANA? And how do we position it, right? So Maheshana, can you go to the next slide? Right. So then with that, on behalf of the communications team, Sandhya, Rashmi, and Namrata, and, obviously the entire Texas BANA, we're happy to announce that we rolled out a new BANA brand identity, right? And we felt this would best reflect our new, who we are and what we hope to achieve as a community. We focused on 5 key personalities: fun, diversity, youthfulness, inclusiveness, and relatable, right? So you'll notice that in every way we communicate, we ensure that these 5 personalities are reflected in how we curate content for you, right? Our mission remains the same: honor the past, create the future. So that hasn't changed. The national board has been extremely supportive with what we're hoping to accomplish, and they were completely on board. A lot of, we ran a poll, a couple of weeks ago, and we were glad that the overwhelming majority of bunds in North America agreed with us that we need to diversify in our brand look, feel, and identity, right? So with that, you'll see three options. Again, we have a new way of expressing it, right? So we want to focus on the brand essence, but we want to stay true to our roots, which is honor the past, create the future, right? Uh, as Dallas bunts and as Texas takes on the next BANA, we hope to make the next BANA very exciting. And as Maheshana said, we have a lot of great initiatives that are planned. Tulumane Talks is one of them, and you'll hear future conversations. And you'll notice that in the slide where in how we communicate on Facebook, LinkedIn, we have future plans for YouTube. You'll notice a lot of this gets carried forward and it's consistent with the way we communicate, right? But where did we get started, right? Let's go back to where we get started. So we started with the logo, and then Maheshana, if you go to the next slide. Okay, perfect. And you've seen this announcement that we made on Facebook. I saw a lot of engagement. I think we reached almost 600 BANA folks on Facebook. We had almost 40 plus likes and comments. So thank you all. I know you guys loved it. So really what this image encapsulates is how do we, one, expand this logo into an entire ecosystem all by itself, with a core focus on building on our foundation, developing a sustainable organizational structure. And at the end of it, obviously, we want to transcend borders and generation and bring us closer, right? So we need to cater to not only senior citizens, but also the youths, right? And we're trying to go down that direction, right? So here in this banner, you'll see how we've incorporated our culture and everything we represent in all our communications, right? Maheshana, do you want to go to the next slide? Do you want to take on the website and everything else, or do you want me to just continue?
No, keep going.
Okay. So if you haven't already, I encourage you to go ahead and explore our new website. Of course, this is still a work in progress. I know Divya kind of touched upon it, but for the group, we're still finalizing the details on what we plan to do for Texas BANA. But you'll notice that in the coming weeks and months, and we'll make announcements all across social media and email as and when we make updates and when we announce the big BANA bash that we're planning for 2024. Okay. Next slide, Maheshana. Okay. So if you've been on Facebook recently, you've probably seen that we've expanded our new identity, look and feel onto Facebook. And like I said, I know you guys loved the way it's come out. We're excited as well as a communications team, super excited. And we can't wait to show you what we have planned for you in the coming months, right? Our goal is to become more active on Facebook with communications, announcements, etc. Really what we're looking for is, as a national bunt association, we were hoping that everyone gets a lot more active. So please continue to engage with our posts on Facebook. If you have ideas or comments on what we could do different, please don't shy away. Feel free to send us an email. You have our email address, banaship@gmail.com. I know Rashmi, Namrata, Sandhya are very, very active in checking emails. So again, our core focus is communication. We want to communicate more with everyone. That's our goal into 2023. Maheshana, next slide. Okay. I know we've only been traditionally on Facebook, but we're expanding on how we communicate, where we communicate, and curate an ecosystem of platforms for you all to engage with each other. So very recently, we expanded onto LinkedIn. Again, the goal is we realized that we needed a professional networking platform for bunts to network. So you can find us as Bunts Association of North America on LinkedIn. Request yourself to join. Again, this page is purely for professional networking and communications only. So it's very different than what you'll see us communicate on Facebook, right? So I know many of you all are active on LinkedIn. That's another great platform for you to connect with bunts across North America. Look us up, join us, and I encourage you guys to connect with other members within the Bunts Association of North America on LinkedIn, right? And I think I have one last slide, Meshana. Actually, Prasad, do you want to cover this? This is the Banavani announcement, or do you want me to take on it?
Yeah, you can take it over, Srini.
Okay, so as you can see, we reworked on the identity and the brand of Banavani. So now we've got a dedicated logo for Banavani. We have an all new look. So, within 24 to 48 hours, we will be releasing our first inaugural Banavani on behalf of Texas and Dallas Bunts. You will see that come out tomorrow, day after at the latest. You'll hear from Rashmi, Namrata, or Sandhya. So watch out for this. We have plenty of announcements around community news, community engagements, social gatherings, community spotlights, and upcoming events. We want to thank all the regional reps who coordinated within their regions to bring us a lot of great content and have contributed to this Banavani, right? So on behalf of all the regions, we hope you enjoy reading this. And going forward, I think our plan is to publish a Banavani quarterly. So if you have updates from your regions, I don't know if all the regional coordinators are on this webinar, but I'm sure many of you all represent different regions. So if there's updates from your regions, coordinate with your regional coordinators, and they'll ensure they get it to us so that these announcements will be captured in the next Banavani. But obviously, big shout out to Rashmi, Namrata, Sandhya. They actively coordinated with every regional coordinator to gather all the content. They did the entire summary, the entire write-ups. So totally appreciate all the editorial insights and best practices that Rashmi, Namrata, and Sandhya brought in. So I loved it. I'm sure you all will love it, and we look forward to getting more of these going for you all. With that, Mahesh, I think I've concluded everything with branding and communications. Over to you.
Thank you. So I think one of the most important underlying themes of our group here, one is you've seen the incredible talent on display. Srini talks about he's very modest, but he's done an amazing job in the branding. Whether it's Divya or Veena or Prasad, Rashmi, Namrata, or my better half Sandhya, they are fully dedicated. I think one of the important things is, and we have a whole team there. We have about 35 or 37 volunteers in helping us pull this together. And all of them are not necessarily on the front all the time, but without their help, we wouldn't be able to pull this off. So I have to thank, I'm really blessed and lucky that we have an incredible team around us. And a lot of things that we're doing are legacy issues. Like when you think about our daily lives, right? We have our family, we have our professional network, and what we're trying to do is trying to create this ecosystem that is extended family, where we can all rely on each other, whether it's professionally or any conversation that can be had, so that we can, whether within the city that you belong to or the broader community in North America itself, create the sense of belonging outside of our day-to-day lives, whether professionally or at the family level. And the Tulumane Talks is an extension of that philosophy. How do we bring in, like traditionally, we go to the temple, we have a puja, we come back, but this is more than that. This is a little more about, okay, you have family, we all share the common culture. That is something that binds us together. But how else can we help each other? And this is really an effort. And everything that we're doing today is focused on developing an ecosystem that will go much beyond next year. That when we hand it over to the next host, that they have a structure that they can build on. It's like think about this as like an Apple iPhone. We already have created the apps on it. Anything else that we do is another app on the same infrastructure. So the infrastructure development was a very core focus of what we tried to do here. And this again, just to regurgitate what I said before, the Tulumane Talks is an extension of that. And this is going to be a common theme. We'll have interesting personalities come and talk to us during the course of the next few years. Again, we will do what we can with this particular forum in the next year and a half, but then it'll continue throughout. Our goal is that this becomes a source of ongoing conversation in the community. And I think this is the next our next Tulumane talk with Dr. Mahesh Shetty. I told you about his journey. He's actually a nephrologist, and an incredible journey. Just a very a nice book about it. And we had his journey from where he was to what he's doing today. Incredible. And one of the most interesting things about his journey, outside of the fact that he fought cancer and won the battle, if you will, is that there's a very underlying theme of spirituality in his and his deep belief that his spirituality helped him get to where he is. So it's another theme for people who want to kind of take a look at it. This would be a very interesting conversation. That's pretty much all a presentation today. Again, you guys are just very patient. Appreciate you joining us. This is just a launch point. We're going to have a lot of exciting things to come in the near future. We look forward to your active participation. Now, let me open the floor for questions. Let me get out of this PowerPoint so we can take any questions from the audience. Wow, no questions? Come on, guys. Come on, Supriya, you can ask a question.
I think we got one from Namrata.
Namrata has a question.
Okay, Namrata, go.
Hi, Mahesh. Just want to know when can we expect a more formal announcement of what we have planned for BANA 2024, our meetup?
Yeah, I think we are finalizing, we're kind of debating, we're working with the event planner, trying to figure out what would be the right place for us all to meet. And like Divya alluded to, we're looking at cruise being one of the options, but we also, more importantly, we want to make it a vacation. I think one of the things that we have discovered from talking to a number of our fellow BUNT members is that when you're young and you have a family and you have to come for BANA, it's a contest between go to India, go to BANA, or go on vacation, right? And particularly when so there's a dollar amount involved associated with attending BANA. There's a time element involved in attending BANA. So what we're trying to figure out is whether we cannot solve the problem of India versus vacation, but what we can solve the problem of BANA versus vacation. So we're trying to solve that problem. And the main thrust of our brainstorming session revolves around how we can combine the two, where BANA is part of your vacation and also not the only reason for your trip. And I think that's, to Divya's point earlier, we're trying to make it economical, vacation, fun, and also BANA. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. Thank you, Namrata, for your question.
Thank you. Looking forward to hearing more about it.
Mahesh, this is Rashmi. We have few questions or inquiries via email as well as through the regional reps around youth representation. So what plans do we have to engage our youth as part of this forum?
Good question. I think the youth part, we are designating somebody as part of the youth right here in Dallas, and I'm going to defer to Prasad in a little bit. But our goal is, whether it's Tulumane Talks or whether it's anything that we're doing for nonprofit or whether we're doing on a professional level, it is providing the mentoring infrastructure for younger children coming into their professions or coming into going to college, needing guidance on jobs, etc. We have not completed that thought process yet, but that is one of the most important ingredients of what I think makes our BANA successful. I'll defer to Prasad to talk a little bit more. Prasad, if you don't mind, just harp on that a little bit.
Yeah, sure, Mahesh. Thanks. Yeah, I think that's a great question, Rashmi. From a youth perspective, I think we are in the process of, creating that group. Even in fact, from Texas, we have many kids identified who will be part of a group. And like Mahesh said, there will be a mentor. In the next couple of weeks, I think we should be able to finalize that and, have a group, have a mentor, and work with kids. I think that there are some regions where they have already identified youth representatives, but in some we haven't really reached out to the regional reps. So regardless, I think once we finalize it here, we will then reach out and communicate with those different teams. I don't know if I answered your question, Rashmi. Is that kind
You
of what?
did. You did both. Thank you, Mahesh and Prasad.
Yeah, thanks.
I had a question for all of y'all. Great, love the idea of Tulumane Talks. What if the other regions wanted to submit a guest speaker? Are they allowed to, or how do they go about it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the membership or the communication team is fielding all those inquiries, and I think we will review them. I think the good thing would be to establish a calendar. And right now we were thinking about we originally started the idea of saying every quarter, and then I think we have a pipeline of speakers which are much longer or better than we originally anticipated. So I think it might be a monthly event. Yeah, absolutely. Please bring a speaker on board, and we will line them up. One of the other things that we also want to encourage our regional reps to bring to the fore. If you know somebody, this has to be it is not a Dallas or Texas thing. It has to be a national event. So somebody who's a good personality for moderating a conversation or hosting a conversation, or they have particular desire to be the host, etc., bring it on, because I think it'll broaden what we're doing as a community, and I think it'll also bring more and more personalities. Just to give you an idea, we were last week in New York, and we went out to dinner, and guess what? The chef was a bunt, and he was running his restaurant in Brooklyn. It's called Lore, Lore. Anybody here from New York City, you should go out and check the restaurant out. Anyway, he saw the reservation and came and talked to us in Tulu. This guy was running a restaurant chain in Basel, Switzerland. I mean, he's a fantastic personality. I want to bring him on board and just talk to him about his life journey. So it's not just about us being engineers or us being finance people or us being medical professionals, if you will. I mean, I think there's other professions that people have taken up and are very successful at it, and we need to bring it out and share it with the community. So,
Thank you. Yeah,
Mahesh?
Yep.
You mentioned that for a bunt, their Guttu or money holds an important place. But most folks from the current generation have no idea about it, including my children. You mentioned about the family tree project. So perhaps you could elaborate on the plans and helping the youth understand their roots as well as bunt history.
Thank you. Before I forget, the screensaver you see behind us is also Srini's creation. If you see a little bit now, symbol of Bana there, that is Srini did that. So I want to give him kudos on doing that. So I think the Bana Tree project is in essence, all of us relate to, whether you talk to your parents, and particularly our parents. They identify each other by which house they belong to, right? It's almost ingrained in us. When you talk to our parents, I mean, not much. Maybe I can't relate to as much because I'm more a Bombay person as opposed, but I can understand when my mom and or uncles is talk about he's from that house, and he's and they relate to each other from the house. They jump from tree to tree, and what we're saying is, how do we create that from a digital framework, right? So what we do is traditional ancestry of when you think about ancestry, the Caucasian way of looking at it is is father, grandfather, et cetera, et cetera. If you go to the British or the Italian, or what the Mormons have done with ancestry.com is that they can track it back, God knows, 15, 16 generations, because the churches in whether in Italy or in England, they were very detailed record keeping of who was born and where they were born, etc. I have a friend from England. He can trace his roots back to 1200. But we don't have an equal way of doing, and that culture is very much rooted from where we come from, right? And I think what we're trying to do is let's just assume that, I'll just give my example. My mom is from Aikala and my dad is from Kolnat Guttu. So my children, my two boys, they kind of know it, but they don't really know about it. But so what we're doing is we're creating a root, a family tree around homes or around guttus or around manes. So what will happen is that, like Prachi, if your mom and dad is from X place, for example, you'll be able to search for your tree, and then from the tree you'll be able to know where your parents, brothers and sisters, siblings, etc., and then how they are connected to each other. So that is, it kind of creates a bonding. So one of the ideas that we have is when we meet next year, we'll also identify your guttu when you come in. So you can meet other people that you didn't know were your relatives. Suddenly you discover a cousin that you didn't know, who either lives in your own city or maybe lives in the US. Suddenly there is a little more bonding, right? We all have cousins, we all have, but how we connect personally is got nothing to do with the level of relations. What I'm saying is you could have a really you could have a first cousin you don't really like, but a third cousin you really, really like, right? So we are establishing that bonding, and the bonding starts with knowing where you come from. And why is this important for our children? Because our children don't know where they come from. Sorry, I have allergies. So our children don't know where they come from. I mean, they kind of know. They've gone to Mangalore, they've gone to Bangalore, but they don't really know where they come from. So what we're trying to do is, if you show them the culture that they come from, then I think what it creates is a sense of identity, which is very important to them. I think that's what we're trying to create, that sense of identity. And then, so eventually when they go back to Mangalore, they'll be able to see a, place that their families came from, and gives them a sense of belonging, right? So that's what we're trying to create. So, I think we hope to get a demo out there in the next couple 3 months. We're working hard on it, but I think once you see the demo, it kind of just jumps out at you at how beautiful it's going to be. So again, I'm not doing a great job explaining it, but Veena, I hope I answered your question, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think
Okay.
it's going to be very useful for all the coming generations.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Just adding to that, Maheshana, when in a layman's term, I'm just giving you an example. Someone comes to the US, right, and gets access to the app or whatever it's going to be. They can actually find other people or relatives across the US that belong to the same house, right? So think of it like, okay, so and so person from your house is here, and you can communicate and connect with them, right? So I'm sure there's folks that I'm related to that I don't even know, right? Especially the younger folks, right? So really exciting project. Looking forward to
Yeah,
this
we,
one.
we had a couple recently come to Dallas. I mean, they moved here from Memphis, and the wife, she was from Bangalore. She knew my brother, and then when I talked to the husband, it turns out that he's related to me. I mean, he knows all about my dad's side of the family, and I'm looking at him and saying, "Oh, I've never met you before, right?" So, and that happens all the time. Some people who are related to me don't want to talk to me. I'm just kidding. That happens very rarely, but so there is that uh, kind of connection that
Uh,
we create amongst each other, right? So anyway, so
Mahesh, would this have a broader application in terms of like if they wanted to use it for matrimonial or for jobs, would it be linked up also for things like that, which the younger generation would like?
yeah, I don't know the matrimonial. I don't know. I mean, I think it's a good opportunity. I don't want to but I think more importantly, you can reach out to a person in the profession. For example, if you have a kid who's in high school and they want to be interested in a particular profession, if you will, you can just search the database, get into LinkedIn. It'll jump to LinkedIn, for example, and know that person is in that profession. At least talk to somebody who will talk to you objectively, right? Without any filters, right? They'll tell you the truth. Okay, here's what happens. Here's how you need to think about it, etc. So I think the ability to communicate directly without any filters is the most important part of being part of the family, right? And I think that's what we're trying to create. I think and whether it's this Tulumane Talks or etc., we need to figure out a way to communicate where most people you meet, whether you network or all that, we are a little bit guarded, right? We don't try to give them too much information because we don't want to, but when you're talking to family, there is really no reason for us to be shy about sharing our thoughts, if you will. So Prasad, you want to say something?
Yeah, Mahesh, just doing a quick time check, not to rush us through
Thank you.
this, but before we end though, I just wanted to ask if Supriya or Prachi or any of our guests who are outside of Dallas, like Sharath and others who are outside of Dallas, if they have anything to comment on.
Yes, I would like to say something.
Sure.
As a new member of BANA, I would like to firstly congratulate everyone for all the hard work that they've done. And especially as an architect and as a designer, when I see the logos and the new background that Srinivas sir has worked on, it really encourages me to obviously participate and contribute to whatever I can in my way possible. Also, I have a question that since I'm not based out of Dallas or Texas, I'm currently in New York. I would like to know how I can be a member of a specific community or, try my best way to, help in some way or the other.
Prasad, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. Mahesh, thanks. Yeah, hi, Prachi. I know we have interacted over emails and chat as well. Yeah, so I think we'd be more than happy to, I think, have you in one of the teams, depending on, I think the way Srini put together the teams is there was a survey sent out here locally within Texas, specifically within Dallas, and based on preferences, depending on your likings. So if a person like membership as his or her preference, that's where he or she went to. That's how I think the current team structure was created. So we can, I think, reach out to you offline and see where you would like to participate and help us, and we are more than open to have more and more volunteers. So yeah, we can work with you, Srini, and I can, and our team here, communications team, can work with you and bring you to like any team that you prefer to participate in. Having said that, Srini, anything you'd like to add there?
No, I think you're spot on. Prachi, also, if I don't know if you've met your regional contact or your regional coordinator.
Pallavi.
Yeah, so maybe that's another great place to start on how you can start getting active within not only national but even within your region. That's a great place to start. But that's pretty much everything I had to add. But you got it all, Prasad. You're good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I would like to ask Prachi, because I heard you said you're an architect. Did you say you're an architect? So that, and a designer. So I'm Sandhya, and I'm in charge of the souvenir, but we can have that conversation offline if you'd like to join the souvenir team, because that requires some design skills, and you have a great background for that. So
that's exciting. I think that will be good. I mean, as I think Mahesh sir also said that we are usually, we feel we don't speak out much on LinkedIn unless and we know that he's a Shetty or a Bunt. So when I saw Mahesh sir's profile and I see that, he's into real estate and I'm like, okay, I'm into construction. That will be a good point to talk about. And I immediately felt like a family, okay, when I saw his name and, because I do not have any family member in the US. I'm the first one to come here. So joining Bunts is also in a way, my way of, getting to feel like a family. So I'm very thankful to everyone and I'll be really glad to join any of the team.
Yeah, so yeah, and Prachi spot on, right? I think what Mahesh kind of touched upon, I think the key is communicate.
Yeah.
That's the key. So we're all ears. You can, feel free to send us emails, ping us on Facebook, ping us on LinkedIn. If there's any thoughts or ideas or suggestions, anyone, right? This is not just Prachi, but anyone, just stay in touch with us, right? Given what Mahesh has covered so far, there's a lot more exciting stuff coming, and then, we're hoping to continue to engage with everyone on an ongoing basis. Sorry, Mahesh, I think I cut you off.
No, you didn't. No, absolutely. I think I'm also mindful of the time. It's Saturday afternoon, and most people take a siesta on Saturday afternoon. So I hope I'm not disturbing anybody's siesta. But anyway, please, anyone else had a question? We are running up against the hour here, so I just want to make sure that we are respectful of everybody's time and also give everybody the opportunity to ask questions. By the way, you don't have to stop you. You can always send an email at banaship@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to respond to anything. So, all right. Anybody else? Any other questions? So, Priya, you had any questions?
No, Mahesh, I have no question. Thank you.
Okay.
So Priya, thank you for taking over the Chicago region while we were looking for volunteers.
You're welcome. Thank you. Tomorrow we're celebrating our Bisu tomorrow, so I'll probably convey this message over to them.
Awesome.
Awesome. Okay.
Priyanka.
Yeah.
It was good meeting you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you all very much. Happy Ugadi again. This meeting is being recorded, so you'll have access to the recording some other time. And I'm glad, Prachi, we could bolt you onto the family. You'll see a lot of the other people, they have been members of the family for a long time. So glad to welcome you on board. All right. Take care, guys. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
A great weekend.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.